My first question is, what are your areas of expertise and professional involvement roles that led you to being invited into the discussion today?
So I am trained professionally as an environmental economist, and I am in a geography department because I do a lot of interdisciplinary work. And most of my work has to do with the intersection between humans and nature. And when we deal with natural problems, how we modify the environment, how we create problems, and then how we solve them. So most of my work is actually based in the Mississippi River Basin. I started looking at pollution, non-point source pollution coming from agriculture into the Gulf of Mexico, things like hypoxia in the Gulf. But when I moved here to Carbondale, I also started working on floodplain related issues because we have a very strong area of research at SIU regarding floodplain management. And the third project that I've been involved here at SIU is Asian carp, an invasive species in the Illinois River and the Mississippi River. It's creating a lot of problems. There are lawsuits to try and reduce the pressure of this Asian carp. So I do all these work and I teach all these things to my students, both graduate and undergraduates, on how we can create better policies, how the policies that have been in place for a long time maybe were appropriate when they were put together, but are no longer so because situations have changed, people have moved, technology allows us to do different things today. So I also am very comfortable being uncomfortable and talking to people that are outside my profession. And so I started working with Peter almost from the very beginning of Imagining Geographies. I was in the second group of people after the first Imagining Geographies on Antarctica. And I am very uncomfortable right now because I'm not a TV person, right? But I think it's important that you all are here, all the students, the SIU students, the high school students are working on this project. I really believe that this place, Southern Illinois, is not just beautiful, but it shows how many problems we have in dealing with nature, and it shows the promise of solutions. And so place-based education, I think, is very rich, and we can do a lot of it down here. So that's how, a long answer, I can talk a lot.
Love it, I love it. We need it. So, what are the key points you plan to contribute to the discussion today?
So I think my role here is to make people understand that the locals have very serious concerns and they face very serious problems, but these problems are not just down here. The problems go all the way up to the Quad Cities at the border with Iowa. There's 100 levees going up that have maintenance issues. There's serious budget problems at the federal level to fund these projects. What is the role of local governments? What is the role of the federal government? And how do we make this not just something that works, but something that is legitimate for the various populations that are involved, that's done involving stakeholders the right way. And so my role is to kind of say, okay, we're here, we're at Shawnee High School, there's problems up the river, there's a problem down the river. We need to see the broader context and how do we get people to work together in a way that doesn't result in lawsuits and people being very unhappy about what's going to happen.
Yeah, that is really bad. And like I see that it's kind of hard for some residents to understand and for the federal to understand the residents because the government wants them to pay more taxes, but the residents feel like they should just give the money to
Yes.
get it fixed. So it's like it's hard to side because it's like both points is they have their views on certain things. So, but what do you feel about it?
So my opinion is I actually teach a class to undergraduates on wicked problems or problems that have that different stakeholders see differently. And I think my role here is not to give you the answer, is to give everybody a voice and to guide the discussion in a way that's informed. So personally, I may have a point of view. Professionally, my job is not to have any. and facilitate the discussion in a way that's fair and it's civic and civil, right, for every party involved here in the room, but also for the audience outside the room, because there is a lot of expertise in that room, not just structured expertise like Professor Pinter or Professor Jackson, but there is unstructured expertise. There's the locals' knowledge, there's the locals' memories, and all these things have to be heard by the wider audience as well.
So with that being said, what are the policy changes that actually residents could produce, like, or contribute to the levy problem that you think?
I think one of the things that the themes, just looking at what Professor Pinter has just told me, and looking at Professor Jackson's experience, I think the local power can snowball if they find the right allies, if they are able to scale up their action in a way that really gets to the right size, right? In the sense that the problem is not just local. So the solution cannot be just local. And so I think they've done a marvelous job at being heard from here. Now let's make sure that they are talking to other people up and down the river and thinking about the broader picture.
Okay, so is there anything you would like to further imply about this discussion or the levy project?
Okay, so this is because I am thinking big. And I think the SIU PR department should use some of the materials you guys are making. And I think what you guys are doing is really, really, really cool, because you're out here, you're not on campus, you're off campus, you're out here where we live, right? We have all those posters that say, SIU, this is where we play, this is where we work and where we do stuff. And so I think it's really awesome that you guys are here, that you worked with the high school students to produce the video, that you're learning about the place where you're studying, even though you may be coming from far away. And there's a lot of international students involved in this project. So I think that we need to do more of this type of advertisement for SIU, not less.